Well, tubes, I got us a project to build here. As you can see behind me, it's already started. I decided on this video, instead of spending a bunch of time at the first kind of drawings and explaining what we're going to do, I'm just going to jump into this video, get it to a point where it's easy to explain and easy to understand what it's going to do and how it's going to work. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to explain what this does and how it's going to work, what it's going to do. Basically, long story short, this is going to be a reverse unit or a washout rig. It is replacing the one that we did a video about a few videos back. If you want to watch it, there'll be a link in the description, takes you to the playlist of it and this. But basically, that's all for now. Let's jump in this, and when we get up to this point real time, I want to, at the end of the video, talk about what this is and how it works and everything else. Alright, now I gotta do the other side. Okay, I'm gonna explain here sort of what I'm trying to get done here. I've got both of these cuts done. This is about 6 inches roughly. This cut wasn't perfectly straight, but it's about 6 inches. I've got both these cuts that go from here about 2/3 of the way down. And basically, I am going to leave the full width of this from about here to there, and it's going to have a piece of channel iron that gets laid up in this notch we're cutting out that goes from here to there, and that's what the trailer axle is going to attach to. Anyway, I'm trying to get this piece out of here and save as much tank as possible, and so I've got to make these cuts. I've got to cut from here across, and then I've got to cut this piece of channel iron, and this whole piece should fall out of here. I want to just sort of hack this out. I'll have to recut all this, but I'm just going to take my plasma torch up here and just off there and try to get this piece sort of out of the way and not on me or on anything else, and then we can sort of clean all this up. And I'm hoping I can roll this on its stomach and push it in the shop here and work on it in the air conditioning. So I got this thing moved over here. I got to take a grinder and clean up these cuts, and I've got to recut most of these. In fact, there's only one of them is actually where it's supposed to be. I got to take a tape measure and kind of lay out where this is supposed to go, and then it has sort of egged. It's narrower across this way and wider across that way. Probably take a ratchet strap or something and pull it back kind of close. So I got this thing shoved in the shop. I had this thing pretty round when I welded that side on, and I pushed it around outside and set this up here and tacked this one on, and it smoothed a lot. It's it's a whole lot. So it's supposed to be 8 foot. It's 1.5 inches out around, and the gap between here and the outside is narrower here than it is over there. I'm probably going to have to cut at least one side of this back off because I think it sort of needs to bow or something. You know, this needs to move like to here. But I got a chain come along. I'm fixing to come along on this and pull this thing back around and just sort of see what happens. So I think that this might actually fit. This thing didn't quite stay round. I've touched on that before, and I honestly have kind of screwed this up. I should have, this needed to be moved in almost a whole inch. When I cut this loose, this thing shrank widthwise. It's pulled, you know, pulled this way and gotten wider that way by about an inch. Anyway, I need to take and put a chain to come along from here to there and pull on it to make it rounder, and that's actually going to get this even closer. I think I'm going to turn the camera off for now. This is going to be a ridiculous amount of welding, and I'm going to spend the next couple of days to try to get this floor all ground and cut and stacked in here. Okay, so this came together infinitely better than I really expected it to. I got it welded up last night. I didn't spend a lot of time to make this super nice. I think the weld actually missed the crack right there. I didn't clean everything up real good. You know, this dual shield, you need to grind the inside of all the piece of plate, and I just didn't. It's got some wormhole porosity. You know, I got it turned up super hot anyway. But I'm fixing to put this, I got this 6x3 swedge. I'm fixing to cut a hole out and put it in the center there. I'm gonna at a later date cut that swedge off. I'm gonna make this as short as I possibly can because a piece of pipe's gonna run, I think I'm gonna run it out the side, maybe out the front. It's gonna be pretty close to the ground. Anyway, let's do this. Alright, I got a 1-inch gap there to fill, but y'all get the idea. I gotta go put a shirt on. I'm gonna look like a lobster. This This thing's probably getting kind of heavy. I don't know if this is going to work. I got my little plate grabber. I'm going to see if I can drag it out and maybe just stick that on that connection in the middle and pick the whole thing up. I'm going to get it out here, get the axles bolted to it. I'm probably going to take all this back apart when I blast it, but get the axles bolted to it, tires on it, and then flip it over and get the inside welded out. So I got the axles kind of bolted in it. I got 2 lug nuts on each wheel. This is enough to roll it around. I need to flip it over. It's kind of awkward, and this is probably a stupid idea. I hooked a chain in here. I'm gonna try to hook this chain around the forklift, just pick the whole thing up straight up in the air, and then see if I can lay it back over without it crashing through my pickup or something. I think I'll give you all a vantage point over here somewhere. So I went and got a couple of sheets of 3/16. Got this shoved back in the shop here. And I want to build this tank thing that's going to hang off the back. I don't know exactly what you call it. The fluid coming back from the well will go into this tank. This will give a while for the crap that's in the water that comes up out of the well to fall out of the water. And then the water runs from this back into here. You want to keep the inside of this pretty clean, so that when you suck it back out with a tank truck, you don't end up with a bunch of crap that you got to dispose of. And then you can sort of bleed the water off here, let it settle out, and then the actual crap that comes out of the well, the sand or the rust or whatever, you can shovel it out. So I'm going to do this is I'm going to take a piece of this plate and put it across here. It's going to be 1 foot off of this, straight across. The top of it is going to be level with the top. If we got, like, here's our 2 pieces of channel, it's going to look something like this. And then I'm going to put like a divider in the middle. Our fluid will come back in here. It'll have to go down and under and back up, and then we're going to cut a hole up here. It'll be right here, and this is where the fluid will run from here back into this tank. All right, I kind of got worked out what I'm going to do here. I've got some stuff cut out, been grinding on some stuff. I'm going to do this some kind of deal, montage, this fast forward thing. Let's see if we can throw this tank deal that's on the back here together, at least get it started on it. Alright, so I kind of got this welded out, got that connection welded in there and torched on, bumped around with the grinder. The next thing is I want to put that on there. My little forklift is stuck out there and the big forklift won't fit in here. So I think I want to try to manhandle this up here. It's probably dumb. Again, I guess I'm just going to stick you over here and do some time lapsing. I'm gonna crawl in that thing and get that welded out. It's got a little gap, but I don't think it'll be too bad. I may get in there actually with a cutoff wheel. It looks like that centerpiece is sticking out. That's kind of holding everything out a little bit, isn't it? I can fix that. I want to pick the camera up. I don't remember exactly where we're at. It's been a week or so since I've had the camera. I felt like this is getting kind of boring. We skipped ahead a little bit here. Probably gonna skip ahead a little bit more. Basically, we got all the welding done. I drug this thing outside, flipped it upside down. I painted the bottom, and then I started on this. I took my plasma table and cut out these rings. They're 2-inch wide. These rings are going to go around the top of the tank. I felt like this will make it look better. It'll make it more rigid. Not that I mean, it was kind of floppy, but not that it probably would matter. And then I'm going to lay 1.5-inch square tubing on top of here to give it kind of a rail and raise this back part up a little bit. I still got to cut a big hole here for the water re-entry into this tank. But I guess that's it. I'm probably going to lay the camera down. We got a lot of more fabricating to do. I feel like it's getting kind of boring. I'll pick you up if something cool happens. Dang it. That was a main breaker. Does that look straight? Because it is. Kinda. So I think I'm at a good stopping point here, both to end the video, but I'm also want to spend the next few minutes to talk about this thing, how it's going to work. And I've got enough of it built that it's going to be easy and logical to walk around and explain, you know, this is going to do this and this is going to do that. So basically, we got a 6BT Cummins at 160 horsepower. This is out of a first generation Dodge pickup. It's going to have a flywheel, a factory flywheel bolted bracket on it, and we're going to make a drive ring in the next video with a shaft. There's just going to be a big pulley that bolts on the back of the engine. This pulley is going to have a set of belts to come down and drive as a pump here. Let's go take a look at that pump real quick. So here's the pump that I'm going to probably run. This is a Baker. If this doesn't work, I'm going to put a Mission Sandmaster. This is a 2x3x11. But if I replace it, I think I'm going to go with a 3x4. It's just handles a little bit more volume. And I probably will go with a 13-inch impeller. This one will put up about 500 foot ahead, which is about 175 or something PSI at 3,500 RPMs. And my plan is just simply to overspeed it. Its maximum speed 3,500. We're just going to turn it 4,000 or something to get that pressure up to around 250 psi. So we talked about in the last video about the old reverse circulator behind the shop there that's going to be scrapped. I had some people say it doesn't look that bad. It is. It's rusting and rotting away. It's got holes in it. It is done. But anyway, my whole goal with that was to be able to wash wells out with a centrifugal pump. And y'all saw the centrifugal pump that I tried to build. I put a lot of time and effort into it. And as I explained, it worked excellent, except it had a bearing failure, and I did everything I could think of, other than just basically starting over and putting much larger bearings in it to get it to survive. It had many advantages, the biggest one being that if you plug the tubing up or you slam the tubing in the bottom of the well and seal it off, there isn't a situation to where it would like deadhead a triplex and blow something up. The pressure can't climb. It just quits pumping. The other big advantage is it doesn't surge, and so a triplex is in perfect shape, and especially a duplex. You get a surge in the hose. The hose vibrates, slaps the ground. You got to be careful not to let it get up against the skid of a unit or something. It can rub a hole in your hose relatively quickly. I would like to have optimally 300 psi out of a centrifugal, though I think 200 would be adequate. 250 would probably be a really good number. That's kind of my range here. And basically, I'm wanting just to take a Mission Sandmaster, 3x4x13, drive it off this engine, and overspeed it to the point that it'll put up about 250 or maybe close to 300 psi, and hopefully it'll live. Now, one of my big kind of designs of this trailer, one of my thoughts behind it, is that I've got the frac wagon now, and this level right here, this floor is just about level with the floor of the frac wagon. And so what I'll be able to do, if I go wash a deep well out and need more pressure, or I'm a big job, or whatever the situation is, I can back that frac trailer up right up here where the pumps, on this side, or we could be on that side either way. But basically, you could just step from here over to the frac wagon. It's just going to be, the floor comes all the way out to the fender, so it's just going to be, one step over. But anyway, we can use these two pieces of equipment together, and I actually plan on putting a hitch back here where I could pull the frac trailer behind this, and then of course with that trailer out there, you could do anything you wanted to do. But anyway, that's the plan, is that I'm going to put a centrifugal on here that will just get done what I need to do, and if we need something bigger, more powerful, 5,000 foot well or something. I've circulated a bunch of 5,000 foot wells out with that other pump, and it'll only put up 500 pounds. But anyway, we just bring the frac trailer and set it right beside it. But anyway, we got a pump here, centrifugal pump. It's going to be sucking out of this tank. This connection goes in the tank. It's going to have a 90 to kind of suck down a little bit lower. It'll go into the centrifugal, out of the centrifugal, there's going to be a manifold built here with some valves. It'll have a bypass line that can come up into this tank, but most of the water will go to the well. It'll come back from the well. It's going to come into a connection with a piece of 3-inch pipe welded here with a neck that comes into it. It'll be dumped into this tank. It'll sort of mosey its way across the tank and over to here, and then we've got to cut a hole or do something here to let the water run from this tank back into the main tank, and then of course it'll be recirculated. While we're back here, I wanted to touch on a few things. I got these rings put on. It goes around the top of the tank. I think that it looks really good. You can see that connection over there. I'm going to weld that 90 on it. I think that'll put it close enough to the bottom where you can pretty well suck this tank out as low. I think you can get it as low as it needs to go. And I got this piece of tubing welded on here. It goes around here. This gives a little bit more height to this without it just simply being taller, and it gives you something. It's not just a knife edge. It gives you something you can grab onto, you can hang onto, you can lean up against. I got this plate sitting up here. I'm going to hinge this to this back here, so you can raise this up. And the bottom of this is a 4-inch connection. And this cam lock is going to be screwed in the bottom of that connection with a cam lock cap. And I want to be able to raise this up, tied up with a chain hook or something, or you can crawl up underneath there. You know, won't be much crawling underneath. You just kind of reach down there, pop this cap off, and this will give you a way to easily clean out this tank. Once you've got the majority of it shoveled out, you will be able just to, you know, drive a rod down through that or something and shovel it to that hole, and as I say, help you clean this tank out. This is where all the crap that comes out of the well will settle, and you'll have to have a, you know, reasonably easy way to get most of it out. It doesn't have to be spotless between jobs, obviously. I hadn't worked any more of my fenders. I'm kind of waiting to see how all this lays out. So there's going to be the pump is going to be mounted here. I'm going to buy a generator. There's going to be a belt driven or mechanically driven, what am I trying to say, direct couple generator hooked to this engine. It's going to be a 480 volt generator, or, you know, technically alternator, but it's going to drive the power swivel. Now the power swivel is going to be pretty much unchanged off the other truck. We saw it in the last video, but it's going to be mounted right here. It's going to have the same sort of mechanism as the other truck. I'll show you when we get there. We had a winch. You sort of dolly it up on here and pick it up. It picks itself up. But anyway, the power swivel will sit here. It's got to have a box with a VFD, and then I should be able to take a generator and actually overspeed it, even though the frequency won't be right. I think I can make all that work to run that VFD. The VFD obviously rectifies it and then changes the frequency of it to drive the electric motor. But this, again, like the other setup, will, you know, with some toolboxes and stuff added, will be the entire package. It'll be a power swivel. It'll be everything that you possibly need to clean out a well, other than, you know, specialty fishing tools and stuff. So that when you go on a job, there's not like an extra expense. There's nothing, you know, let's go get this tool, let's go get that. There's a slight possibility we might need the frac wagon, but that's you know, that's sort of a more extreme case, and I think probably really going to be an unusual deal. This should be everything that you need to clean out a well, even mill on a packer, even mill junk, drill cement, anything. It all should be on this trailer. All right, well, I guess that's about it. I think y'all kind of got an idea of what this thing is going to do and sort of how it's going to work, my thoughts behind it. We will jump on this next week, and I've got to build a cover for the engine. It needs a lot more fabrication, and get a pump mounted, and there's a lot left to do. Anyway, appreciate you watching. Like, share, subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one.